You that are new, thank you for joining us for the first time. We're going to have a full house today, guys. We're going to finish up with Kasha Towns today. She's going to finish telling her story. We also have Miss J in the house, who is a cancer survivor. She's going to share her story with you as well. And we know October is Breast Cancer Awareness, Domestic Violence, and Anti-Bullying Month. So we're going to keep continuing touching on a lot of those subjects so we can be out there to continue to help all of you get through this thing we call life, this unpredictable journey we call life. I want to take a chance right now and just say to you, new folks that are just joining in, give you an idea of what Destiny Talk Live is. We decided to do Destiny Talk and bring it to the radio because we want to talk about those issues that a lot of us won't talk about, that is taboo in the families, and otherwise we just don't know how to talk about them or get help with. My goal for this show was to be very transparent. I know that in order for you to understand and believe that I understand what you're going through, you have to be able to have that window into my soul and into my life. So my host here, my co-host here, they have agreed to those terms, and that's why we're here with you every Thursday at 1 p.m. I want to let you guys know it's a tough road. It's not an easy journey. And anytime that you're exposing your life or anything that has happened to you, it's a difficult moment. And sometimes we just can't get through it. But my promise to you is to be here as your accountability partner, to listen without judgment, and help you through those difficult things that you otherwise think you can't get through. You'll hear a lot of stuff coming from us, a lot of things that I'm going to be sharing with you, a lot of things in my life that I've experienced. It's not anything that I read about in a book, but I have the on-the-job training for, and I know that whatever it is that I went through, there's somebody out there that shared the same experiences and things that I've experienced, and I just want to be able to give you that help that I didn't have. You know, there's a lot of you out there that are really supporting our show, and I really, really do appreciate you, as well as my co-host Centrell, Kasha, and Miss J. We're so excited that you guys are here listening to us, and please share it. I want to give a quick shout out to PK at 96.1. Thank you so much for your words of wisdom and encouragement and listening in and tuning in to our show today. And also Dr. Greg Pitts with NAPTE, that's National Association of Television Program Executives. Thank you so much for your time this past weekend and giving us some good information. And I want to take that back. PK is with iHeart Radio. So if you guys aren't familiar with them, look them up. They're really pretty good for podcasts and so forth. And then I really want to thank our broadcaster here, Prime, for just giving us the opportunity and guiding us to the success that we have. I don't want you to go anywhere, because when we come back, we're going to get introduced to these ladies. We're going to talk about a man's worth, super women, family ties, and then we're going to tie it all in with knowledge is power. You're listening to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G.
Deliberate dumbing down.
Dumb down society.
Deliberate dumbing down of America.
Dumb down public. Why would they do this?
Sensation Station Network. Radio, not dumbed down.
Vince Lombardi once said that it's hard to be aggressive when you're confused. Some of us think that taking our lives to the next level, both personally and professionally, is a confusing and complicated process. Guess what? It's not, and I can prove it. My book, Truisms, will show you how living your life by rules that are so self-evident and obvious, you'll say, I knew that. This powerful yet short, detailed bestseller is on sale right now, under $10. Go to michaelmcfadden.com. That's michaelmcfadden.com, and let Truisms help you to the next level.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. You know, I help people solve difficult problems every day, but one problem has me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. Luckily, the Feeding America network of local food banks collects surplus food, giving hope to hungry children and their families. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The thing
online, you can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G, coming to you every Thursday at 1 p.m. on the Sensation Station Network. Before we get started into our conversation today, I want to let you know we're talking about domestic violence, bullying, and breast cancer. Cancer patients, we're going to go ahead and talk about those things, but we're going to talk about a man's worth as well as superwomen. But this is also the time that I want you guys to be able to call in at 678-613-5857. If you're listening in to tune in, you can text at 678-613-5857. Or if you're listening to us on Facebook, go ahead and type your comments in the comment section and we'll get back to you. Right now, I want to introduce my co-host for today. I'm super excited about these ladies because we got a lot of information for you today that we're going to share. But I'm going to go ahead and start with Miss J. Miss J, if you could tell us who you are and give them a little bit about yourself.
Okay, thank you so much for having me, Cherry. I'm so proud of you. This platform that you've provided for everyone is incredible. My name is Jaquette Jackson. I'm from the city of Chicago. I am a financial planner with New York Life Insurance. I am also a survivor of ovarian cancer. When it is all said and done, I am a champion for women like yourself who seek to spread news.
Thank you so much. All right, and we're going to go ahead and get Miss Kasha to come on in and tell us who she is and give a little bit more of your story.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for having me, Miss Cherry. I am Kasha Towns. I am a survivor of sexual abuse, also a survivor of domestic violence, and an advocate for young women that's exited out of the foster care system who has went through the same thing that I've been through in my life.
I thank you so much. And guys, if you missed it last week, Kasha has an amazing story. We're going to recap a little bit and then have her go into it. But before that, I want my co-host here, Santrell, to go ahead and introduce herself.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It's great to be here as always. I am Santrell Green, the owner of the Eliam Group Training and Consulting, where I am a leadership coach and I work with people on soft skills such as communication, team building, and such. And it is a great pleasure to be here sharing this platform with Cherry to see how many lives we can actually impact.
I really do appreciate it. Like I said, I'm in here with a group of powerful women, and I love it. We're going to start this conversation off talking about cancer. Santrell's going to open it up because she also used to work for the American Cancer Society, and we're going to talk about why it's important not just for women but for men. You guys need to be aware of some of the things that's going on because you too can be affected by breast cancer, believe it or not, and other types. So I'm going to have Santrell go ahead and open that floor for us.
Absolutely. Again, we know that this month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but as we say, with all of these topics that we're discussing every month, you should be aware of them. You know, the 2017 figures from Breast Cancer Facts and Figures is 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer over their lifetime and 1 in 1,000 men. So men, if you don't think it can happen to you, it can. So just briefly, we want to encourage you to reach out to your doctor and work with them on your specific situation to determine what your course of mammograms and so on and regular testing should be, because for some people there's more. For some people it may be an ultrasound that you need to get. For some it may be every 6 months. The frequency may be different. But so many people have become afraid because I don't want to know. And there's so much that you can do. A very dear friend of mine, I root for her, Trisha, you rock. She is a survivor, and she is, as we say, she's kicking butt out there with her life. So there is a lot of hope for you. There is treatment out there. So please get with your doctor, see them on a regular basis. If you do not have a doctor, please reach out to the American Cancer Society. They have a 24/7 1-800 line, as well as cancer.org. You can look at Susan G. Komen. There are a lot of community resources. Cherry, you and I know there are mobile buses and things like that that go out and do mammograms and so on. So there are resources for you. Please take care of yourself.
I agree. You know, there's a lot about this little colorful canvas of my life that I really don't talk a whole lot about. But being a person who, at the age of 27, well, 26 actually, who went through that had to go and do cryo treatments and so forth, you know, I understand. And they caught it at an early stage, but I had it. So I had to cut the hair and go through the whole process like everyone else, but It's just something when you're younger and as you're going through life, it's just another hurdle I had to overcome. But I brought Jay on here because to me, whether it's breast cancer, ovarian cancer, colon cancer, cancer is cancer.
Absolutely.
You know, and it affects everyone, not just the person that's going through it, but the family members and so forth. And I asked Jay to come to just give us a little bit and share as much as she would like of her story and how her family unit was able to get through it and how she came through it, because I know some of you out there are listening are feeling or wondering the same thing. How can I get through this moment, or how can I help my wife or my husband or my child that has cancer? And guys, if you have something you want to comment, please don't forget to text or call at 678-613-5857. On Facebook, go ahead and type your comments in the section and comment section, and we'll get to you. And don't forget, if you're listening in to tune in on a radio, also 678-613-5857. So Jay, if you can give us a little bit, just tell us how you detected, how was it detected? How did you know something was wrong?
Yeah, that's a story I wish I could share every single day. I was 29 years old. I was at the height of my poppiness, so to speak. So I was traveling, moving, shaking, everything was fine. I noticed that I kept having kind of a stomach ache, like I felt like I had gas, if you will. And I kept going to the doctor. I went to the doctor 75 times over the course of 3 years. And it wasn't until my 30th birthday, I had come back from a party in Chicago and was having a party here. I passed out at the airport. I woke up and we were at war with Iraq. That was 2 weeks after I was at the airport. So I was out cold for 2 weeks and woke up with half of my ovaries gone, half of my tubes gone, and I was told that I would never be able to have children anymore. So it went from gas to cancer. And you mentioned something earlier. Had it not been for the emergency room, because I'd actually gone to the emergency room that night after being at the airport passing out, they sent me home. They said I had gas or it just had some sort of obstruction, but it wasn't anything to worry about. They sent me home with gas pills. And it wasn't until I came back throwing up blood that they did an ultrasound and found a grapefruit-sized mass wrapped around my tube. You would not have known it because my stomach was very flat. So you see, women have to take full control and ownership of your body. You have to learn to listen to your body and trust your body, and don't let a doctor tell you there's nothing wrong if you feel there's truly nothing wrong. You see, had I gone to the doctor 2 years ago, to this doctor that recommended the ultrasound, they would have found it much earlier. And it wouldn't have required them to take one of my ovaries and one of my tubes and send me to treatment because I'd never have children. But my God is good. I have a 12-year-old daughter. I'm happily married, and I am wonderfully healthy. But it truly took an angel to look further, because you've got to be careful. Doctors will get you in and out. They won't do what's required. So you have to listen to your body, trust your soul, and do what's right for you.
I can totally agree with that, and I appreciate you sharing that. And there's some other stuff that she shared with me that I'm going to ask her some question on. But you guys stay tuned. We're coming back. You're listening to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G.
Uncle Dan? Mom? Dad? If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them, I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over.
As your neighbor, I'll feel safer. As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
We'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old. But I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Uncle Dan?
Mom?
Dad? If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them.
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside. Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over.
As your neighbor, I'll feel safer. As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
We'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
The world is changing. And we are changed. Sensation Network. Radio of Dumbbell.
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. Just before the break, we were talking about cancer and how it's important for men and women to know their bodies, get checked, and make sure that you stay in tune to who you are so you can detect this early. And we were listening to Miss J tell you about her ordeal. We're going to get back to that. This is the time, guys, that if you want to comment or you want to participate in the conversation, you can text or call at 678-613-5857. All of you listening in to tune in, thank you very much. You can also text 678-613-5857. And if you're listening on Facebook, go ahead and type your comment in the comment section and we'll get to your question. Now, Jay, you were saying that you went to the doctor in 3 years 75 times.
Yeah.
It took you to pass out in an airport for them to realize that there was something really, really going on.
I think the vomiting blood had a little bit to do with it as well.
Oh, okay, so it was really mainly just pushing it that way. I know for me, I just kept having just really cramps, really, really bad. And then when it was time for the cycle, I was doing more than what I should be. And my doctor, he was like, your iron is very low and I don't know what's going on with you. Then we did an ultrasound and that's how they caught it for me. At that time, I think I had like 32 tumors inside my body. And they were like, yeah, we got to get this over with. And I was trying to say, go ahead, take everything because I'm done. Right. No more kids. I'm cool. But they wouldn't do it because I was 27 years old. Yeah. But you know how that is. But when I met Miss J, she was sharing her story with me. And she said something that I thought was, man, I couldn't wait to meet her husband because of the type of person he was with her through this ordeal. And fellas, I want you to listen to this because, like I said, it's not just whomever the loved one is, whether it is the man, the wife, or the child, but to have this type of support was absolutely amazing to me. So if you could give a little bit, and she fought him, honey. She fought him. If she could give us a little bit of your story about that.
Fight that situation. Yeah. It's so funny when you're young, you think you know it all. You think you know exactly what you want. You think you know what you will and won't put up with. That's what I had in my mind. I knew that's what it was. And then suddenly I'm struck with cancer. As soon as I finished, I went through 6 months of chemotherapy. And after I finished, my friends in Atlanta had a welcome back from the brink party. So at that party, I met my husband. My husband courted me for about 2 weeks. I didn't call him back. Honey, I don't have time for that. I was not calling him back. It was not. So finally I called him back, and he wanted to take me on a date, and it was my first chemotherapy treatment. I fought him tooth and nail, like, I'm not trying to do this, you ain't moving in my house, we're not doing this, like, no, right? So I let him take me to my chemotherapy treatment. He took me to that treatment. We got back home. I was incredibly sick, and I slept. I slept all night. He stayed out on the couch. The next morning, I woke up, and you know how you go to wake up, wipe your eyes. Well, honey, my eyebrows fell off, my eyelashes fell off, and they were mine. I had some beautiful micro braids, honey. I went to brush my hair, the braids just fell on off. So I went into the bedroom the night before looking something like a diva, if I do say so myself, right? even though I was sick. And I went out in the living room the next morning, and my now husband was sitting out on the couch. He had just made me a little breakfast. When I walked out, I was devastated because I was completely bald. Oh my God, I was devastated. And he was like, no, it's okay, it's okay. And he held me and he nurtured me for a moment. And then he was like, all right, well, I'm going to leave and I'll come back. Girl, y'all know I didn't think that man was coming back. Come on now. I went in there looking fly, you know what I'm saying? Came out bald.
Nice to have met you, right?
Girl, went in looking like Lola Falana, came out looking like it was just horrible. So he left, and 1 hour later, I started to get a little sad, and 3 hours later, I was just an emotional wreck. Cancer. I didn't plan for this. I'm by myself. I didn't plan for this. 6 hours later, this man is not coming back. On the 7th hour, this man knocks on my door. And instead of being happy, I had an attitude. Make me wait all the time. You know? But he knocked on the door, ladies, and when I tell you he had a huge, you know, those huge trash bags, the lawn and trash bags where you go pick up all the stuff in the yard.
Yeah.
He had one of those. Where they do that at? Where you going? You're not moving in here. Where are you going with that? Like, I'm upset and I'm angry. I was sad. I miss him. But it was our first date. Now you coming back with a big trash bag. Like, I don't need you like that. I'm not desperate. I'm good. I'm a strong black woman, you know. And he was like, girl, just open the door. So I opened the door. And inside this huge trash bag, he starts pulling out the most amazing wigs. He pulled out a blonde wig and he put it on his head. He was like, you like this? No, we pulled out a long Cher wig. He said, you like this? I just started cracking up laughing. Girl, get to the bottom. He got helmets. Man got antennas. He was like, it doesn't matter what's on your head. It doesn't matter. It's what's in your heart that I am falling for. And that was the day I fell in love with my husband. That was the day I realized that I had to move out of my way so that I can be free, so that I can experience what God had put before me. And that is the day I decided to marry that man of mine. Wow. We still together.
Yes. Man, I tell you, every time I hear it, it just does something to my heart. And like, fellas, you can't get no better than that. But I don't want y'all to go anywhere because we're not done with you.
Because your husband rocks.
You're listening to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G.
Oh my gosh. Girl.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
And will give someone in my community
a second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Vince Lombardi once said that it's hard to be aggressive when you're confused. Some of us think that taking our lives to the next level, both personally and professionally, is a confusing and complicated process. Guess what? It's not, and I can prove it. My book, Truisms, will show you how living your life by rules that are so self-evident and obvious, you'll say, I knew that. This powerful yet short, detailed bestseller is on sale right now, under $10. Go to michaelmcfadden.com. That's Michael McFadden.com and let truisms help you to the next level.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience, an ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And lead the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Sensation Station Network. Radio 2, Atlanta.
Up in the sky, it's a bird.
It's a plane!
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. Just before the break, we were talking with Miss J, and she was telling her story of how cancer entered in her life and how it changed her life at the same token where she married her best friend, her husband. And we were talking to the fellas on how important it is for you to be there, that support. Sometimes we got to push through our own insecurities and our own letdowns to be that strong support for those that are going through. And ladies, she said something that was so profound. I want you guys to understand. She said she had to get out of her way to be able to accept what God was bringing to her life, and that was her husband. I mean, the story is powerful. And again, if you guys want to comment in, please text or type your call to 678-613-5857. If you're listening on Facebook, go ahead and type your comment in the comment section and we'll get back to you. Thank you guys that are listening in on Tune In. Jay, I mean, when you told me this when I first met you, I was like, she had us all in the office just boohoo crying. And it was important because, you know, you went through it with somebody. I went through it by myself, you know, because I didn't tell anybody. And it was a tough part for me because I told my kids at that time, my ex-husband and I weren't together, and I sent them to go live with him for the summer and whatever because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what I was going to have to go through. And Jay, unlike you, I kind of had an idea because I had family members that passed away from it. I went ahead, and when I found out I was sick, and cut all my hair off. I went ahead and did it because I knew I probably wouldn't have made it if I had woke up that way. You know, and there's a lot about my life that I don't tell and I keep silent. But my journey in Destiny Talk is, you're all going to know it because I know it was for me to help you. So, Jay, like you said, you were like, oh, my God, you are not moving in my house. I mean, you just had this sister soul. It ain't happening. Oh, my goodness. And when this man brought this bag of wigs, I mean, when she told me that, I was just like, yo.
It was huge, girl. I was like, where you going with that?
Right.
Wait a minute, you know. And it's funny because as women, we often get in our way. We have this idea about what is expected of us as women. We have this idea of what is expected of our partners. And when it's all said and done, you've got to release these expectations so that you can receive your miracle. When you hold on to expectations, it truly blocks you.
It does.
You know, and you've got to identify a course of action, and it just takes one decision to change your whole life. Now, had I closed the door on that man, God knows, I don't know that I would be sitting here today. My husband introduced me to myself, you know.
Ooh, wait. Your husband did what?
I love it. He introduced me to myself.
Ladies, did you hear that? I want to make sure that y'all understood it. And fellas, you know, we talked about this earlier on the show. You remember, Kasha, we were talking, and Jay, we had said that we have this myth that men aren't supposed to show emotions, that they're not supposed to show that they're caring and loving. And we want to kill that because the sexiest thing to me is to be able to see a man in his vulnerability.
Absolutely.
Because that lets me know he's soft. In a way that he can care, that he can feel for me.
Yes, and to your point, you know, vulnerability, and this applies to men and women, a lot of times it's perceived as being weak. But vulnerability actually taps into the power that is already there for you. It is not weakness, it is power.
So what do you think about that, Kasha? You agree with that piece too, that just a man just being able to say, hey to you, hey, I'm here for you. If you cry, I'm crying with you, because he feels that pain that you're going through.
Yes, it's just let me know he's passionate about that purpose. That's what you're going through right at that moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
And see, Jay, you said something off the air. I want you to say it on air,
Yes.
because it was very key and very profound.
Yeah, so many things happen in this life, and oh my God, we make it so complicated. We make it so complicated, but it's all as simple as the following equation: event plus reaction equals outcome. You know, if we hold on to the amount of strength and control that we really do have in our lives, we can absolutely change our reality.
I believe that.
You have to accept the event for what it is, check your emotions, react accordingly, and control the outcome. Now, I'm not saying that you control everything. So many things are out of our control. It's the way of the Most High, I believe, in keeping us in check. But you all get a choice. Every single day you get a choice. Like this week, Sunday, I was like, oh, I don't feel like shaving my legs. That's a choice. If I had chosen not to, then Lord, I don't know what I would have worn this week. Like I got all these dresses. You know what I'm saying? I'm being facetious, but it's ultimately a choice. Like I was like, oh, I don't feel like shampooing my hair, but if I didn't, then I would have had to wear wraps, and then it's hot outside. So you have a choice to make.
But it's not. It does. And you said it. You sounded like you were being facetious because you were mentioning things that don't seem like they're important. But I want to say it's the little things that are important. It's the things that you don't even think about.
Yes.
That's important. And as we've been talking since September 7th when we launched this show, is you got to know what the it is in order to get to the next step.
Exactly.
I mean, you will never be able to come full circle with your life until you let it go. And I realized that in the craziest way, you know, and Santrell and I and Jay and I used to work in the same building. I used to say all the time, Lord, in 2015, I said, Lord, I do not, and she can account for it. I said, I do not want to come into 2016 the same way and end it the same way I did 2015. So October 3rd, 2016, I had a stroke. And I was telling Santrell, I said, well, I guess I should have been more specific. And when I told the Lord what I didn't want to do, I did not end 2016 the way I ended 2015. And I did not go out the way 2015. I can laugh about it now, guys, but I'm going to tell you, it's been a long journey for me. October 3rd of this year marked a year. And Santrell and I were having this conversation. And it's the first time since I was 16 years old that I've never worked. Okay? It was the first time since I was 16 years old that I had to depend and count on somebody else. You know, it was a very humbling experience for me, and it's a very hard thing for me to do. But I want to say this as a testimony that I've not went without a meal. I'm not homeless. I got on the radio without a job.
What you talking
Absolutely.
I'm just telling y'all, you know, I said to him, I want you, and when I say him, I'm talking about the Lord, put me in a platform to where I'm supposed to be. And I believe this is what my platform is. That's why these ladies are here. That's why we're here sharing our lives with you. You know, it's difficult to come in and talk about something so intimate in your life. This woman was told, you're not going to have any kids. I've met her daughter. She's absolutely amazing. I call her a little sister soldier. She is awesome, an awesome young lady. And then here I meet Kasha. We're here, and it's crazy because I think we're sisters from other mothers, because we've been through some stuff that I promise you, she was in my closet, I was in hers. I mean, because our lives are mirror. And then Santrell and I met at a crazy way. We were both going for a training position and whatever, and we're so opposite that we're good to work together. You know, I always tell everybody she's my calming person, and I'm the one that's gonna come at you full force. You know, I don't have time to play, but she'll be like, you know, well, let's think about it this way. But I appreciate these ladies coming, and I appreciate Jay, because cancer is tough. Ladies, don't let it consume you any more than it already is. I'm not suggesting you go through it the way I did by not telling anybody, because it was harder. It was harder. You know, and some of us, we may not have those people that Jay had, but we do have outlets. You do have people you can call. And I just appreciate the fact that she's here sharing it. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about it, and then we're going to segue into some other stuff that we got going on. You're listening to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G.
JBT 700 Miami Circle 30324. It's not a chain, it's a chain reaction.
Invest $49 a month at a real gym.
For more info, go to facebook.com/Gene's Body Tech.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Keep a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
There's a power you have within you, unlike any other. You can't explain it. It's just there. It drives you, compels